Howdy, today I've got another quick DIY RV project for you. I've got a 2016 Lance 825 truck camper, and it has LED lights in the ceiling. All of the lights are controlled with a switch on the light itself. There's no actual switch on the wall, which is kind of strange since there are switches for all of the outside lights. And there's even a switch right here for the bathroom light. But all of the ceiling lights have just a manual switch that you have to reach up and turn on. And it'd be nice when coming into the camper at night to have a switch, over here to just turn on one of these lights. So that's where this little kit comes in right here. And for about $10 to $20, I've got two remotes and this little circuit board right here. And this tiny thing is only good to switch up to an amp, so this will not work with anything but a single LED light. And basically all this is a wireless relay. So we're going to wire this into the power that is feeding one of the lights. We can leave the switch on, and then we will use the remote controls to power the light. My plan is to put one of the controls back here somewhere. And the back of the case is rounded, which might make mounting it right here a little bit of a challenge. So I'll either have to use some kind of Velcro or just maybe hang it off of a screw right there. Not a big deal. Then I'm going to take the other one and I'll put it somewhere back here in the bed area. That way you can climb in the bed with the light on and click it off before you go to sleep. So the first thing we want to do is make sure the power's off. And these lights simply unscrew. If you turn it counterclockwise, the cover comes off. And then there's just a couple of screws to remove it from the ceiling. Then it comes down, you can see. And you have to remember that in an RV, it's wired like a house. So your black wire is actually the positive, and the white wire is the negative. And we're going to go ahead and tap into these wires here. So the plan is this whole little circuit will just sit right up in here in this cavity above the light. And it's all only 12 volts, so it's not like you really have to worry about, exposed circuit. I probably will just cover this in a little bit of electric tape though, but see, that'll fit all up in there nicely after it's tied into the wires here. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the positive wire right after the splice there. So we're going to tie into it. So let me just strip off a little bit on both sides. Then what you actually want to do is connect the red wire and the yellow wire. So we'll strip them both back, because the yellow wire is basically the entrance to the relay for the common wire. So hook those together. So red and yellow wire from the kit, we'll crimp those together, and then we want to connect it to the positive coming from the RV, which is, like I said, in this case black, since it's going by house colors and they do things weird in RVs. So now we'll make our negative connection. And the same thing on the neutral side, which is white on the RV. Cut that off. Strip off a little bit of wire. Then this will be our negative, which is the black wire on the kit. Now, since we're only switching the positive side, I really just needed to tap into the neutral for the circuit. So I have to reconnect the negative side. So we're basically just joining the black wire from the kit and reconnecting the two white wires. Use a splice connector. So now we have this blue wire, this leftover blue wire, and that is the output from the relay, the switched relay, which we're going to reconnect to the positive line going into the light. Just crimp that on there. Crimp it together with the black line coming off the light. Alright, so that is all of our connections. So hopefully that makes sense. Alright, so now there's a little more setup. So first, we're going to test it. We'll make sure our switch is on. If we press the button, you see the light comes on. But if I let off the button, it turns off. So right now, it's programmed as just momentary. So as long as you hold the button, the light's on. That's not what we want. We want it to be latched on when we press the button, and then when we press the button again, have it turn off. So now we're going to have to make a little programming on that little tiny circuit board. Alright, sorry about the light here. So like I said, this is where it starts getting a little hairy. So to program this little tiny thing to change modes, you have to take a paper clip, and on the other side, right next to the circuit board, see the little black circuit board in the middle on the right, looks like this. There are these two little pins, and if you, once you've got it connected and you put your fuse back in, you've got power running to the light, you're going to take your paper clip and temporarily touch it to those two pins. And you should see the light come on, and then the LED will flash one time. As soon as it flashes one time, you will take the paper clip off. Don't let it flash more than one time. And then now, when we press the remote, the light comes on and stays on until we press it again. And you might have to, first time with both remotes, it kind of goes into learning mode, so press it and hold it, and press it again. So there's how that works. Simple, but it is a very, very tiny. And there's really, the instructions that come with the kit are completely useless. They don't tell you anything about how to do that, so just so you know. But it does flash one time, so it means it's changed to the correct mode. Alright, so now I'll just tuck everything up in the ceiling neatly. I'll extend the antenna a little bit and put it all back together. Alright, everything's tucked up in the ceiling. I extended my antenna wire, and there was actually a little bit of a cavity. I just kind of pushed it through the cavity a little bit, just to get a little bit better reception. Now, you can just re-screw it to the ceiling. Alright, it's mounted back up in the ceiling. Now we can just go ahead and put your transmitters wherever you want. And that's all there is to it. Alright, so that was a pretty easy modification, but programming that little tiny receiver was a little bit of a chore, and you can buy them a little bit bigger version than that. I just wasn't sure that I'd have enough room in the ceiling, but after getting it out and looking at it, and your application may be different, they make one that's a little bit bigger that's rated for 10 amps, and it's much easier to program, and you can even buy them where they're already set for the latched position, which is called, or toggled position, however you want to look at it. So that might be an easier solution for you if the wiring didn't look too bad, which it wasn't, but the paperclip thing kind of threw you off a little bit. There are different ones you can buy, and I'll leave a couple links below in the description. So if you have any questions, go ahead and leave a comment, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.